man who steered the United States economy through its worst financial crisis in a century, just took a new job, and it's not what anyone expected. Ben Bernanke, the former Federal Reserve chair who led America through the catastrophic 2008 financial meltdown, has just accepted a position on Anthropic's independent trust board. Now, if you're not sure who Bernanke is or why this matters, here's the quick version. This man has navigated economic collapse, stabilized entire markets worth trillions of dollars, and advised presidents and Congress during crisis. He's literally one of the most respected economists alive. So when someone of that caliber suddenly decides to focus on artificial intelligence governance, it tells you something profound is happening in tech right now. This appointment signals that AI companies have now reached the same level of institutional scrutiny and accountability as major financial institutions. Bernanke understands systemic risk better than almost anyone alive, the kind of cascading failure that can topple entire financial systems. He didn't accept this role casually or lightly. This is about credibility and legitimacy. And here's where it gets truly interesting. This move might actually reveal something critical about where AI regulation is heading. Who exactly is Ben Bernanke, and why does his opinion matter so much? Well, picture someone who's essentially a master decoder of how economic systems actually work. That's Bernanke. He served as the chair of the Federal Reserve from 2006 to 2014, right through one of the worst economic disasters in modern history. In 2008, when banks were collapsing and the entire financial system was on the brink of absolute meltdown, Bernanke was the guy making the trillion-dollar decisions that kept the whole thing from imploding completely. He basically rewrote the Federal Reserve's entire playbook on crisis management. Think of the Fed as the ultimate referee of the entire economy, the institution that controls interest rates, manages inflation, and tries to keep everything stable. Bernanke didn't just manage the 2008 crisis. He pioneered completely new strategies that other central banks around the world still follow today. He's written academic papers on economic history, spoken at universities, and become a trusted voice on how massive complex systems behave when they are under extreme stress. His expertise isn't just academic theory, it's hardened through real-world crisis management at the absolute highest level. That's exactly the kind of mind Anthropic wanted. So what exactly is Anthropic? The company was founded in 2021 by former members of OpenAI, including Dario and Daniela Amodei. Think of Anthropic as a company that's chosen a very specific mission to build AI systems that are safe, interpretable, and aligned with human values. They're not chasing the biggest models or the fastest processors. Instead, they're focused on the harder problem: how do we make AI that we can actually understand and trust? They created Claude, their AI assistant, with a philosophy called constitutional AI, which basically means the AI is trained to follow a set of principles that guide its behavior. The whole point is safety and ethical alignment from the ground up. This isn't just marketing talk. Anthropic has genuinely put serious research effort into understanding how to make AI systems behave the way we actually want them to. They've published academic papers, shared their research openly, and been vocal about AI safety concerns when other companies were more focused on just shipping products. But here's the thing: no matter how good your internal safety culture is, if you're an AI company in 2026, you need external accountability. You need people outside the company who can truly evaluate whether you're walking the walk. That's where the independent trust board comes in. Now here's what an independent trust board actually is, and this is important because a lot of companies say they have oversight but don't really mean it. An independent trust board is a group of outside experts, people with no financial stake in the company's success, who are given access to review the company's decisions, especially around safety and ethics. They can ask tough questions. They can request documentation. They can say that decision doesn't align with your stated values. Think of it like having a board of directors who aren't trying to maximize shareholder value. They're trying to make sure the company is actually living up to its promises. Anthropic's trust board is specifically focused on AI safety and responsible development. With Bernanke on it, you've got someone who's spent decades evaluating risk and making calls that affect millions of people's lives. He can recognize when an organization is cutting corners or taking on too much risk. The trust board isn't there to run the company. The founders and CEO still make the strategic decisions, but it's there to ask, are you sure about this? And to provide independent evaluation of the company's ethics and safety practices. It's accountability with teeth, and that's become increasingly important as AI systems get more powerful and their impacts get harder to undo. Here's the twist nobody was expecting. This move signals that Anthropic is willing to operate under real scrutiny. So here's where this gets really interesting, where Anthropic stands apart from a lot of other AI companies. When most tech companies talk about their values and safety practices, it's usually just public relations. The company makes statements, issues reports, and then nobody outside really knows if they are following through. It's a black box, but Anthropic is doing something different. They're actually inviting real scrutiny. They're bringing in Bernanke, a guy with no incentive to be polite to them, a guy who understands institutional risk and won't accept vague answers, and giving him authority to look under the hood. Compare this to some other major AI labs. Some talk about safety, but don't have any real independent oversight. Some have ethics boards that sound impressive on paper, but don't actually have much power or access. Anthropic's approach is saying we believe so much in what we are doing that we are willing to let outside experts with real credibility examine our decisions. That takes guts. It's also smart because it builds actual trust instead of just claiming to be trustworthy. In a world where people are legitimately nervous about AI power, a company willing to submit to real external accountability gains credibility. For Bernanke specifically, this isn't just a title. He's accepting real responsibility to evaluate whether Anthropic is doing what it says. This represents a genuine change in how AI governance could work. This appointment is a signal. It's telling us something about what's coming next in AI regulation and governance. Governments around the world are waking up to the fact that AI is powerful enough to affect entire economies and societies. They're starting to write regulations. The European Union has the AI Act. The United States is working on frameworks. Countries everywhere are asking, how do we make sure AI companies develop responsibly? And here's what Bernanke's appointment signals. Even before governments can fully regulate AI, the companies themselves might actually move toward real accountability. They might say we don't need to wait for regulators to force this on us. We're going to voluntarily submit to serious independent oversight because we believe in what we are building. That's a powerful message. It also signals that Anthropic sees itself as playing for the long game. They're not trying to move fast and break things. They're building something they are willing to defend publicly and submit to scrutiny. For viewers watching this, it means that the race to build AI isn't just about who's fastest or who's got the best model. It's increasingly about who can build trust, who can prove they are being responsible. And that's a huge change from how tech has typically operated. Here's what this move means. Trust is becoming competitive advantage. So what should you actually watch for from this point forward? First, pay attention to what Anthropic actually does with this board. Do they listen to Bernanke's input? Do they actually change decisions based on trust board feedback? Or is it theater? Watch for Anthropic's public reporting. Real companies with real independent oversight will make that process visible. They'll publish reports about what the board reviews, what concerns they raised, how the company responded. That's transparency. Second, watch how this influences other AI companies. Will OpenAI bring in similar oversight? Will Google? Will Meta? If Anthropic's approach becomes the industry standard, it changes everything. It means the race to build AI becomes a race to prove you're doing it responsibly, not just a race to build the biggest model. Third, keep an eye on actual AI regulation. Bernanke's appointment might actually influence how governments end up regulating AI. If governments see that companies can successfully police themselves through credible independent oversight, they might be less heavy-handed with regulation. If it turns out to be fake accountability, governments will probably write stricter rules. And fourth, think about what this means for your own interaction with AI. If you're using Claude or any AI assistant, knowing that a serious economist is auditing Anthropic's safety practices might actually give you more confidence. This move isn't just corporate news, It's shaping what responsible AI could look like. So here's what this all means for you. AI is getting more powerful every month and affecting everything from the news you see to the jobs being created. The question of whether companies are developing it responsibly becomes absolutely critical. Ben Bernanke joining Anthropic's trust board is a signal that at least one major AI company is willing to operate under real external scrutiny. It's saying we want outside experts reviewing our decisions because we genuinely want to build AI that's safe and aligned with human values. That doesn't guarantee everything will be perfect, but it's a step toward actual accountability. The AI race isn't just about who builds the fastest model or the most profitable product. It's increasingly about who can build trust and prove they are thinking about the long-term implications of what they are creating. The work of developing AI responsibly is harder, slower, and less flashy than just shipping products as fast as you can. But it's the work that actually matters. If you want to stay informed about how AI is reshaping the world, follow this channel for daily AI news. Subscribe for breaking stories and analysis you won't find in mainstream tech news. Thanks for watching.